Hello, BookTube. This is Bookcase 15, shelf number 3, part 1. It's up here in the Reading Nook area. I'm going to start off with Marion Zimmer Bradley's Ancestors of Avalon, based on the Mists of Avalon world. But this is by Diana L. Paxson. It's a novel of Atlantis in the British Isles. It feels like this one must be a book club edition. Yeah, it is. Probably, it's originally from Viking, and it came out in 2004. The pages are already getting a little yellowed from the acid, so not a very well-made book at all. Then we have Stephen Lawhead, the King Raven trilogy. This is Hood. I haven't read the other volumes. Here's the end papers. So it's England in the March, 1080 to 1100 AD. And this is King Raven, Book 1, Westbow Press, 2006. I haven't read as much Lawhead as I would like to. What I have read, I've enjoyed. Then we've got a few of these Fawford and the Grey Mouser books by Fritz Leiber, which I've read in different order over the years whenever I found a volume, and it's always worked out fine. But now I'm trying to read them in order. So this is Swords and Deviltry, Fawford and the Grey Mouser, Book 1. I read a couple months ago and did a book chat about that. And then volume 2 is Swords in the Swords Against Death, Fawford and Grey Mouser, Book 2, Fritz Leiber. These are all published by Open Road Integrated Media in New York. And then the third one I have here, and there's a few more that I don't have. Book 3 is Swords in the Mist. And I'll get to those this year. Great reread. Always a good story. Very entertaining. And then I want to get to an older series that I really enjoyed. I don't know how many times I've reread these. And I've got them in a science fiction book club collection, so you get more than one volume in each volume. And these are the Chronicles of Amber by Roger Zelazny. This is volume 1. And in this are the 9 Princes in Amber and the Guns of Avalon. These are Nelson Doubleday Incorporated. And 9 Princes of Amber came out in 70, Guns of Avalon in 72. And so that's that. They're like, let me read a description, because in case you don't know what they are, maybe it'd be nice. Amber is the one real world. Okay? It's casting infinite reflections of itself, shadow worlds that can be manipulated by those of royal amberite blood. Unfortunately, the royal family is torn by jealousies and suspicions, and the disappearance of the clan patriarch Oberon has intensified the conflicts by leaving Amber's throne apparently up for grabs. The Chronicles begin in a hospital on the Shadow Earth, where a man is recovering from a freak auto accident. And yeah, these are just great. There's a second volume with the same type of cover, but it's got green instead of the yellow. And this is The Sign of the Unicorn, The Hand of Oberon, and The Courts of Chaos, which came out in 75, 76, and 78. And some of these parts of these stories appeared in Galaxy Science Fiction magazine, which I used to also get. And then we have a new Amber novel. That's hard to say for some reason. The Prince of Chaos by Zelazny. There he is. And this came out in, let's see here, William Morrow and Company, New York. And this is from 1991. So anytime I could find these stories, I did. I enjoyed them that much. And then, finally, with Mr. Zelazny, we have The Last Defender of Camelot. Look at that cover. And this, this is a bunch of his stories. When was it? The volume, the collection itself came out in 1980 from Pocket Books. So it has an introduction, and then it has Passion Play, Horseman, The Stainless Steel Leech, A Thing of Terrible Beauty, He Who Shapes, Comes Now the Power, Auto da Fe, Damnation Alley, For Breath I Tarry, The Engine at Heart Springs Center, The Game of Blood and Dust, No Award, Is There a Demon Lover in the House, The Last Defender of Camelot, the title story, Stand Pat, Ruby Stone, Half Jack. So Zelazny was one I was always glad to find. And then we'll get into another series here, a fun one, another one of the, I think I say everyone's my favorite, right? But another set I love. This is a book of the, I'm pretty sure the Science Fiction Book Club put these out. They're Nelson Doubleday books, however. They're Michael Moorcock's The Elric Saga. So the first volume here I have has Elric of Meldabone, The Sailor on the Seas of Fate, and The Weird of the White Wolf. Look at these covers. And let me see. Jacket art by Robert Gould. I just love these covers. So Elric is an albino aristocratic sorcerer type of guy. And they're great adventures. And then this is Elric Saga Part 2. And this has The Vanishing Tower, the Bane of the Black Sword, and Stormbringer. And this is, it was Science Fiction Book Club edition was 84, and they're all Science Fiction Book Club editions. So, you can see right there's all my books are starting to fall on me over here. This is a squishy chair, and it's not great for piling up books. Here's Elric Saga Part 3 by Michael Moorcock. And this one is The Fortress of the Pearl and The Revenge of the Rose. You can get an idea of, at the time this came out, what his publishing history looked like. He was quite an influential person in the transformation of science fiction after how do I want to say this? After John W. Campbell. So this Fortress of the Pearl came out in 89, and Revenge of the Rose came out in 91. And you can see here it says Science Fiction Book Club. So that whole new wave type of movement, Moorcock was heavily involved in that. And here's Elric Saga Part 4. Look at that cover. And this has Dream Thief's Daughter, The Skraeling Tree, and The White Wolf's Son. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2005. So the whole thing came out of Science Fiction Book Club printing in 2005. And they don't really say much about the author at the end of these things, but he's had a very interesting career. So then I have here the Writer's Complete Fantasy Reference, introduced by Terry Brooks. It's from Writer's Digest Books. And also by Danielle A. Clark and Sherilyn Kenyon. And Alan Moore, P. Andrew Miller, Renee Wright, Michael Varhola. It just teaches you about, it seems like world building for fantasy. And then we have Arthur Rex, a legendary novel by Thomas Berger. Like I say, anything to do with King Arthur I'm going to be interested in. This is from 1978. Trying to find places to pile all these up. And then some of you saw these in a recent book haul. This is Castles by Alan Lee. Many of you recognize his work from the Tolkien books. It's written by David Day, designed and edited by David Larkin. And beautiful book. Bantam Books, Toronto, New York. And it came out in 1984. Give you some idea what it. Some of his artwork. Keep these things from falling on me. Then we have Arthurian Legends, an illustrated anthology, selected and introduced by Richard Barber. And this Littlefield Adams and Company. And it came out in 1979. And papers. So here's Geoffrey of Monmouth, History of the Kings of Britain. Here is Parsifal by Eskenbach, Sir Gawain and Green Knight, Sir Thomas Mallory's La Morte d'Arthur, Thomas Love Peacock, William Morris. So it's nicely illustrated throughout and has some fun stuff in it. Then here is R.B. Dobson and J. Taylor, Rhymes of Robin Hood, an introduction to the English outlaw. So it's a collection of texts for studying Robin Hood. It's University of Pittsburgh Press, and this thing came out in '76. So if you're into Robin Hood, this would be a volume to have, I would think. So I really wish I had the first volume in this set. It was a very big deal when I was a young man. It was Eric von Däniken, and the first one was Chariots of the Gods. I don't have that, but I do have these. I have Gold of the Gods, and these are UFO, space alien type things. This was G.P. Putnam's and Sons. It was translated by Michael Herron, and this is from 1972. And they usually have all sorts of illustrations to prove their point. And this other one is Gods from Outer Space. Again, Eric von Däniken. Boy, I loved these when I was younger. Dramatic new evidence for the impossible. Again, translated by Michael Herron. It's G.P. Putnam's and Sons. And this was from 1970. And, exciting stuff. Then, finish it out here. Forgotten Realms, Starless Night by R.A. Salvatore. And this is one of those Drizzt books. And it's, let's see, if they give a date there. Yes, they do, 1993. And here's a map. I haven't read a lot of these, but the ones I've read I enjoyed. And then Robert Holdstock, Celtica, book 1 in the Merlin Codex. A lot of you will recognize his name. He was he wrote a great, smaller volume, but a great novel that or at least I think it was great. It's Mythago Wood that I read ages and ages ago. And then this is the start of a new new series, or new to me series. It's not new now. When did it come out? I wish I could say that. It would help. Tom Doherty and Sorcy. It's so it's a tour book from New York, 2001. So it's been out for a while. 2001 seems new to me, so that tells you something. So I just had to interrupt the video because I got called that the pipes in my library have all frozen. So people are on their way to rescue the building. We've had incredible cold here, as they have throughout much of the country. So I hope you're keeping warm where you are. So thank you, BookTube.